What advice would you have for a guy who, sees you at a festival or at a concert or just anywhere and maybe thinks, you're really attractive and wants to come up and he could be your soulmate, right? What advice would you have for him to approach you without being perceived as a threat or creepy?
Okay. Dance over to me. We make some sort of eye contact, and there's some sort of weird, terrible dance exchange, and you also have maybe a shot of whiskey in your hand. And that's at least going to be like, okay, this person's on my level. Let's get weird. I don't know.
Well, what's interesting, too, is a lot of people talk about just how important communication is when it comes to relationships and dating.
Oh, 1 second.
Okay.
And when you're talking to me, do I look in the camera or do I look at you?
Just be silly, be yourself. Like, none of this, like, hello, your outfit is lovely. Like, no.
Let me ask you this. Okay,
Yes.
so most women say they want a guy who to just be himself, right? Why do you think that it's thought of in society that a guy needs to have game or swag? Like what is that all about?
Well, there is a level of that, I feel. Like, don't show up in your PJs and, like, I don't know. Like, I feel there's a level of presentation on both parties, female and male. And yes, there's a societal expectation of each of those things. But if you're able to kind of be presentable and also give a little bit of yourself at the same time, I think there's a nice balance there.
Do you really find attractive guys cute and romantic when an ugly one doing the exact same thing is creepy?
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So if that's true, if that's true, a lot of women who complain that guys aren't willing to make the effort, why should a guy make the effort until he knows that the woman's already interested in him?
It's a good question, yeah.
What advice would you have for men who feel powerless in relationships?
They say happy wife, happy life, right?
Well, do you think that's good advice, or do you think maybe we should change that to happy spouse, happy house?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay.
So, like, happy partner, happy life, because when you're trying to please someone else, they're also happier because you're trying to make them happier.
So maybe you think we should change that to happy spouse, happy house?
Yes! Happy spouse, happy house, for sure.
Wow. When it comes to relationships, who's typically seen as the prize, the man or the woman?
It should be both.
It should be, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that we typically say that it's the woman who's the prize? What's that based on?
I don't know. What is it based on?
Why do we automatically say the woman is the prize?
That's just how our society is.
Right. Well, I mean, if a woman is typically the prize, who's the prize in a lesbian relationship? Both of them?
Touche.
And if they're both the prize in a lesbian relationship, why aren't they both the prize in a heterosexual relationship?
It's a good question.
All right, let me ask you this. Have you ever experimented with another woman?
No.
You haven't? Okay, interesting. When having a first kiss, what is more special to you? If it happens spontaneously in the heat of the moment, or if the guy asks permission first?
Definitely not
Don't ask
permission. Like, don't. That just makes it so
But at the same
awkward.
time, then there are other things you just ask permission
Yeah,
for.
but, like,
so that's
you
where I
kinda-
feel like that line is a little
Well,
tricky.
here's the thing, right? So the next question I ask after that is, most women say don't ask permission, but then I ask them, well, what does that say about consent?
Yeah.
That's so true.
I know, I just realized
I feel like there's a lot of body language now too, for sure. Like, if you find someone attractive, you're just like going up to them, like all over them, and like sometimes there's like no like wordly saying yes. But,
So
like,
why do so many women rely on subtle body language hints instead of just openly telling a man that,
hey, kiss me.
I
don't
feel like it's
know.
like our generation, honestly. It's just like what we're used to, like especially in college and stuff. It's just kind of like normal, just
Okay,
to.
so if you're in a bar and you see a guy you're attracted to, how do you hit on him?
You single?
What's that?
I say you single.
No, okay, what my whole thing is, I feel like guys are always like, oh, you're very hot, or those type of things. Guys come off like that, and it's more like, I feel like guys should come off with you're beautiful, or yeah, it's genuine.
Well, like, okay, what are the characteristics of someone who's genuine?
Oh gosh. I mean, you can tell when somebody's faking the fun.
Well, like, how do you know? Like, just what?
When they're just like, oh, you're hot as fuck, or you're sexy. That means they just want to fuck you.
Well, how do you know that they're, like, if they say, I mean, just because they say you're beautiful doesn't necessarily mean they're genuine, right? They could be just faking the funk, right?
Sexy, and hot, not beautiful. Sexy and hot. Let me rephrase that for you. Sexy and hot, not beautiful. Beautiful are genuine guys. Genuine guys, yes, that are being nice.
What is the best compliment you've ever received?
The best compliment I've received, I think it has to be the ones that have to do with my personality.
Interesting. Okay. So do you think it's kind of pointless to have a guy, like, is it worth a guy coming up to you who doesn't know you and telling you that he thinks you look beautiful?
I mean, it's pretty worthless since they're just complimenting you and then they go, you do your own thing, they do their own thing too.
Right.
I'm gonna say someone like who opens the door for you.
Okay.
I think that most of the women nowadays, they don't like those kind of things because they want to feel that they're independent and strong woman.
Okay.
But for me, it's like having attention, you know, like, so I like that. Also, for example, if he invites you on a date, at least the first day, like if he invites you, I think it's valid that he pays the check, you know, for you or something.
Well, I mean, I understand that, and if a woman invites a man out on a date, she should pay the check too, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
But most women don't invite men out on dates, right?
No.
Why do you think that is?
I feel that because us as a woman, we expect the man to take the first move, you know? So we're expecting them to come to us and talk to us first and make the first move first.
Right.
So that's why we expect them to invite us
So
on a
why
date first.
why is it, do you think, that in 2020, when it comes to a woman's education, her career, being assertive and going after what you want is seen as a good quality, but in dating, it's women are looked at as desperate? Why is that? A lot of women that I talked to said they experimented with another woman, right? But then I asked them, would they ever date a man who's experimented with another man? And they said no.
Yeah.
So do you think women are less inclined to support bisexual men?
Yeah, I would have to agree with
Do you think
that.
that's a double standard?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is it considered a woman's preference to reject a guy based on his height, but it's considered shallow if a man rejects a woman based on her weight?
I don't know.
Is that another double?
I agree with you, so it's like.
Is that another double standard?
Yeah.
Can you think of any double standards in relationships that don't exclusively favor women?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Do you believe that being in love requires you to be vulnerable?
Ooh, definitely.
Yes, of course.
It's scary.
Of course it does. How can you be vulnerable without being taken advantage of?
Oh, you just.
How can you be vulnerable but take advantage of?
You have to be honest, but still have your guard up, and
How do you do that?
you trust no bitches. First of all, yeah, I'm being serious. Trust no bitches, and also you just have to trust your gut instinct.
So, is it safe to say like that a lot of men maybe struggle with commitment because there's so many double standards and they don't really? There's no right. What's the incentive for a man if every double standard favors women?
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree with that.
what advice would you have for guys who maybe want a relationship but don't want to feel like they're responsible for women's happiness?
Well, I feel like the right partner won't do that to you.
And what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Arrogance is more being a dick, you know, like showing off and everything, you know. See, he knows.
I'll say this. Confidence, yeah, it'll get someone's attention, but I think that authenticity is more important than confidence. Everyone has insecurities, and so I actually think that owning those and just being open about those and not letting it change your behavior, change yourself to impress someone else is more important than being super confident all the time, because let's be real, I mean, nobody is that all the time. So especially when you're approaching a significant other, someone you really like. So I just think it's more important to just be cool.
And you know what, I really love that answer, because I think that true confidence is admitting like vulnerability or admitting your weaknesses and things like that.
Absolutely,
You know what
I agree to that. But vulnerability and basically opening up and saying like, you know what, that was coming from this place. I was just really nervous to talk to you, like, and being genuine when you say stuff like that. That's a quick recovery. That's like, I'm sorry, I'm a human being. And I personally think that level of honesty is really, it's a good quality.
A handsome man, of course. Every woman wants a handsome man. But as long as you can support the woman, it's all Gucci.
Okay, it's all Gucci. I like
It's all
that.
Gucci.
It's often said that, you know, the minute a man shows any weakness, he's viewed as unattractive. So what's your opinion on that?
I just if a man shows weakness, well, first of all, vulnerability isn't weakness, so that needs to be said. But if you're showing vulnerability and a woman rejects you, that just shows her level of maturity isn't there, and so just move on. I would say like that's definitely not cool.
Holding too tightly to something, it's gonna squeeze out of your hands, like no matter what it is. Maybe they're the person of your dreams, but maybe you're not to them in that moment. Like, who knows, maybe you guys are meant to be together down the road, but holding on to it so tightly is just gonna cause more stress on you and the other person.
The most romantic thing that a man could do for a woman is do something that they wouldn't expect. You know, like, okay, so a woman wouldn't expect you to go to the store and pick up a bunch of stuff for her, but hey, as long as you can go, like, okay, so my mom always told me, as long as you can know what groceries she needs before she needs it, then you're okay. Like deodorant, perfume, toothbrushes, toothpaste, as long as you know before her, then you're okay.
Well, and I figured that, like, after you've been in a relationship for a while, you should be
I've
able
been
to...
together for 8 years.
Congratulations,
By
man.
8 years,
Good for you.
you know what you want.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, what advice would you have for, like, guys who are, like, just getting to know somebody?
Follow the woman's advice. Follow the woman, bro. Hey, hold on. After me. As much as you don't want to follow the woman, it's the only point you have in the relationship. And a woman says she wants something, you get it for her. If she don't say she want it, you don't get it for her. But whatever the woman wants, you do it.
All right, so
no questions asked.
So let me ask you this. What is the difference between respecting a woman, making her feel special, versus the guy just pandering to all of her needs?
So you got a rich motherfucker that's just gonna give her whatever she wants, but it's not about money. It's about the thought. It's about the thought, the feelings. It's about doing what she wants before she says she wants it.
All right, let me ask you this. What were some of the things you were told about men while growing up?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That men were
They only want one thing.
Okay. And is there anything in your experience dealing with men that came as a surprise to you?
some men have good virtues. Some, very few, far and few between.
Okay. And do you think the opposite, or do you think the same is true for men? Like, what do you think men were told about women growing up?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. They were told nothing. Are you kidding me?
That's what they have. They have no idea what to do with it.
I've asked a lot of men what they were told about women growing up. You know what they typically tell me?
What they say?
That they should respect all women.
Yes,
Treat women with respect.
I mean, they should, but I
here's-
find that very hard
but here's
to
the
believe.
thing. But my question,
And majority of the time, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but here's my other thing, right? Why don't women tell their daughters, like, you should respect all men?
Oh, you should.
You should.
Why do
You
girls
should.
not
But the thing is, women are a lot smarter than that, and we already know that shit.
What type of men do you think women should avoid in dating?
Women that men should avoid is men that will give them whatever they need. They gotta, I don't want to say work for it, but they gotta prove themselves that they want it, and a man gotta be like, okay, I want to give it to her. Rather than, okay, I got money, here you go. You know what I'm saying? A man wants to be able to respect the woman, give the woman whatever they want, and the woman should appreciate that, no matter what the man wants to give her.
Okay. And what type of women do you think that men should avoid in dating?
Gold diggers, yeah. The women out here on the strip, you should avoid them at all times. you come downstairs, point downstairs and be like, avoid all them.
Men who lack ambition, men who lie, men who cheat, men who only want sex, right?
Definitely true.
Definitely. Okay. My last question is, what type of women do you think men should avoid in dating?
Thoughts. Tatiana's.
What is a thought?
A thought is a ratchet girl that's loud, obnoxious, broke, always on welfare, always at home, always on Facebook, and don't got nothing to do, don't have a job, always taking selfies naked,
and then they got a stack of clothes in the corner.
always saying that they in college but never graduate. Those ones.
If women want to connect with men, on like a deeper level than more than just like a sexual level, why don't you see more women taking active interest in like male hobbies like sports and fishing and hiking as opposed to like makeup and shopping and things like that?
I feel like that's just out of most women's interests themselves, so they should probably branch out to get to know whoever they're dating.
What is the difference between a man who spoils his woman and a man who's whipped?
The difference? That's a really great question. A man who spoils his woman can be very intentional about what he's doing. A man who's whipped can be manipulated. He might feel insecure, might feel like he needs to do these things to keep this person in his life.
Oh, whip, they do whatever the fuck they want. A man who wants to spoil a woman, he will put rejections on them, and he will stop because they know that the woman don't need that. Yeah, they not even deserve, but it's like you don't need that, but we need this. Like me and my girl, we've been together for 8 years. I support our whole household, but granted, I could be coming to Las Vegas every weekend, but instead of that, I support the whole family, and I bring a community to the house. We're doing an interview, girl. We're interviewing men and women. Okay, so if a man has a lot of money versus a gold digger, okay? So if you got a man, what does he need to provide for you?
Nothing, because I provide for myself.
Okay, yeah, and that's a very strong woman. I give you props.
Who's responsible for your happiness?
Me.
Yep, that's true. You're only in fault of your own happiness. If you're not happy, then get the fuck walking.
I'm a Southern gentleman, and I said, you're a Southern gentleman, but you don't carry my bags to the car, you don't open the doors for me.
I think it's more like a culture thing. Like,
okay. But you're from a different culture, but is there any culture that you can think of where this isn't the case? Or is it like this in every culture?
I've seen a difference between, for example, us as Latinas.
Yes.
I think we have that culture, like we expect the man to take the first move. But I've seen, like, I have friends from different countries, and I've seen them making the first move.
Right.
Well,
okay. So I ask men if a woman made the first move and asked you out or tried to kiss you, would you find that intimidating to you as a man? And believe it or not, most men prefer it. They actually,
I know, right?
They actually say very few women do it, and if a woman does it, like my last relationship, my girlfriend, she kind of asked me out. So it just doesn't make sense to me why more women, like, if a woman chooses to approach a man, do you think she's more or less likely to be rejected than if a man approaches a woman?
I think she's gonna succeed more than a man.
She's gonna be what?
Succeed more.
She's gonna succeed more than a man.
Yeah, because it's not common, right?
So why would women be afraid of rejection when they're far less likely to be rejected?
I think answering that question, I think I'm gonna go for the self-esteem.
Okay. Do you think shyness, men and women can both be shy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think shyness hurts a man or a woman more?
I think we tend to be more shy than men.
Well, right, but do you think that, men can also be shy.
Yeah.
But if a man is shy, he's kind of screwed, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's not gonna get, if he's not gonna make the first move, we're not gonna make it either, so nothing's gonna happen, It's so complicated, I know,
That's why the name of my channel is called It's Complicated.
Whoa, you're making me, think something. I'm gonna go and make the first move now.
Love is not a feeling. It's actually a noun. It's an action. You have to choose to do this every day, and you have to choose that person every day. And maybe there's some serious rifts going on between you, but it's okay, I want to work through it, or every time you work through it, you find a new way to get to that solution faster. But you have to be willing to do the work. It's not butterflies, sunshine, stars. No, it's there's family. There's so many outside things that get in the way, in between you, and you have to choose each other every time. And but you both have to be willing to do that.
A friend of mine posted on Facebook once that so many people are afraid of real love because you are completely naked with that person, and not like in the physical sense, but they see all of your flaws, all of your weaknesses, all of your just insecurities, everything. And it is painful because it's just terrifying to let someone see that, but it's worth it. Totally, totally worth it. So.